All right, hi again. Now, the platform that we are going to use is the Shopify platform. Now, Shopify is now the most popular selling platform for e-com store owners. Regardless of whether you're dropshipping or not, it is really irrelevant here for this part of the process. So the advantages of Shopify, which is a purpose-built e-commerce platform, is that, well, there are a lot of advantages, but one of them is very user-friendly and easy to use. So if you don't have any experience, it's much easier to set up a store with Shopify than if you were trying to build a store from scratch, for example, on WordPress. And also, it has a lot of free apps that we can integrate that really make it into like an all singing, all dancing e-commerce store. And it's very easy to integrate these apps just with a click of a button. They're all purposely built for the Shopify platform. So let's take a look at the pricing for Shopify. Now, the basic Shopify, which is all you will need, and you will not need to upgrade from basic for until you are turning over at least $10,000 a month. So at that point in time, you won't really mind upgrading because you're making the money. But a basic store at $29 a month is really all you're going to be needing, certainly for the time being. And Shopify does have a 14-day trial. So during that 14 days, this is when we're going to be getting everything set up and getting a lot done, so that by the time the trial finishes and your first payment kicks in, you are hopefully going to be pretty much ready to launch your store. Now, some of you will take longer than others. Some of you will do this very quickly. Some of you will go through this course in a day and then do everything else in the space of a few more days. Some of you are going to take longer. It really is, everybody is different. But you're going to need this. Now, you can complete the course first, and I still recommend this. I recommended this at the beginning, and I recommend it. I'm reminding you again that I recommend that you go through this entire course, then come back to the beginning and start taking action. So you don't have to go ahead and sign up right now. You can finish the course first. If you're going to finish the course today, then you probably as well to go ahead and get your Shopify account now. But if it's going to take you a few days to complete the course, then just come back and do this when you're going through the course for the second time. Now, I know that some of you may be thinking, well, I don't really want to pay $29 a month for my store, and maybe I'll just use WordPress because that's free. Well, here's the thing, WordPress is not free because you're going to need hosting. You can't use you can't borrow WordPress's platform and use the free platform. If you're having an e-commerce store, you must have your own hosting, or you use a hosted platform like Shopify. So it's not free, it wouldn't be free, you need hosting. But aside from that, all the different apps that we have here and all the different add-ons and extras that are free here with Shopify, then you're not going to have all those with WordPress. So you probably need to pay for things. You're probably going to end up paying about the same. And if you don't know how to do it, it's going to probably take you a long time. So I really highly recommend, folks, if you are a beginner, and even if you're not a beginner, I highly recommend that you make things easy for yourself and you go with Shopify. Also, the lessons from here on in, we're going to be using the Shopify platform for the lessons. All right, see you shortly. All right, now that you have your Shopify account set up, what you need to do is you need to install a theme. So by default, there may be some themes down here, but the best way to do this is if you click this little icon here for online store, and then that's going to bring you to this page by default. And if it doesn't, click themes up here, and then click this blue button up here to visit the theme store. Now, it used to be when I set up my first Shopify account, which was in 2014, there were about 100 free themes to choose from, whereas now there are less than 10. But each theme has a number of styles. So most of the themes have more than one style. So in fact, we've got quite a bit of choice when we look at it like that. And there are some really good ones. So let me just show you. So when you first come to this page for themes, so you've clicked up here to visit the theme store, you're on this page. By default, you'll be seeing all the themes, free and paid. To get to the free only, you click on the free tab, and there's only one page. But the themes that I recommend, not any of these three at the top, but this one here, Venture, which has 3 different styles. And when you install a theme, by the way, you can change the style quite easily just from inside by clicking a button inside your Shopify account. And Boundless, which has 2 styles, Not Simple, and Not Brooklyn, Not Bliss. Supply, Yes, that has 2 styles, and Minimal, Yes, which has 3 styles. So the ones I recommend would be Minimal, Supply, Boundless, and Venture. Let me just click on one of these to show you how you can see the theme properly. This is just a thumbnail. So as you can see, 3 styles included. Click on View Demo, and this is just one of the styles here. Now the header image you see here, you'll be replacing this. Okay, this is just there for demonstration purposes. But what I really like about this theme is, well, it's a nice layout anyway, and it really is a nice theme. This is actually my favourite theme among the free themes. If we scroll down, I love the footer down here. It's got a nice big footer. Some of the Shopify themes, well, quite a lot of the Shopify themes don't have a big footer, and there are advantages to having a footer like this. So that's good. If we just check the other styles as well. So this is snowboard. Let's try outdoors. And really all that's changing here is the colours and the font styles, that kind of thing. Let's look at the last one, which is boxing. Yeah, see, this is really nice. This is a really, really nice theme. Okay, and you can do the same thing for the other themes as well. So for Boundless, check out the 2 different styles there and check out the theme demo. And for Supply and for Minimal. Minimal's a really nice theme as well when you click through and look at the demo and the different styles. So once you've found one, in fact, let me just go ahead and show you. Let's say I wanted to install this theme. I'd click on Install Theme. And then I have 2 choices. Install as an unpublished theme, and that will place it inside my Shopify account. Or I can click Publish as my store's theme, and that will make it the theme of my store. So you can click on this green button here, and you can change your theme. So if you install a theme, you publish it as your store's theme, and then you think, no, I don't really like this, I want to try a different one, you can go and change it, anytime you want. Just bear in mind that once you have a lot of content on your store and you change to a completely different theme, not a different style, changing to a different style of the same theme is okay. You can do that anytime, even when you have a lot of store. If you have a lot of content on your store and you change to a completely different theme, you're going to lose some of the formatting, so you'll have to do a bit of work to reformat it. So before you start to add products and that kind of thing, you want to decide on a theme. But before that, you can change it anytime you want. Alright, in the next lecture, we're going to stay with themes, but we're going to customize the theme that we just installed. Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at customizing the theme that you've just installed for your new store. So once again, on the same page, Online Store and Themes, click on Customize Theme. Now, one thing to point out is that the customization options are different for every theme. So what you see here for this particular theme that I have installed will not be exactly the same as the customization options that you see for your own theme, because they vary from theme to theme. However, all themes will have certain options, so all themes will have basic options regardless, but some themes will have more options than others. And this is again where you can come to the customization part, and if you feel that you can't customize your theme quite the way you want, you can go and try a different theme. But I also advise you not to spend too much time worrying about the customization and trying to get it perfect, because you're never going to get it perfect, because no theme ever has everything that we want. The only way we get that is by getting some special customization done and paying for it. But a theme just on its own will not have everything you want. No theme ever does. So for example, this particular theme here, this is a theme that I actually purchased quite a long time ago, but now I don't really like this theme so much, because there's a couple of reasons, and one of the reasons is that it has a very small footer, and that's one of the things I don't like about themes, because it's really good to have a nice big footer on your theme. So anyway, that aside, let's go take a look at customization options. So under general settings, this is where you can do things such as changing the colors of your theme and that kind of thing. Now, most themes will allow you to change all sorts of colors, so you'll be able to pick from color palettes as well to get a different look and feel for your store. So take a look at the options you've got for changing the colors of your store and play around with that a bit, but just don't spend too much time on it. Now, whenever you make any changes at all in the customization, you need to click Save at the bottom. So for example, if I wanted to change something here and I wanted to choose a different color, I would then need to click Save at the bottom for those changes to take effect. I'm not going to change this, but just to show you that. So let's go back, and let me also show you here how you change the style of your theme. So if you selected a theme that has more than one style and you want to check out the other styles, you need to find the button that says Change Theme Style. Now for this theme it's here, but yours may be in a different place. It's going to be in this customization section somewhere. And when you change the style, you can see what it looks like, what your store actually looks like with the different styles that are available for your theme. And I'm just going to click Cancel here because I don't actually want to change the style. So there we are, back to the way it was before. Now you may have some options for layout as well, which means you can change certain ways that your store layout displays. I don't have a lot of options for different layouts here on this particular theme. If I want to, I can change from rounded corner elements to square elements. I can change the mini cart if I want. The mini cart up here at the moment, that's a cloud. I could change it to something else. And I can change the background of the footer here if I want to as well. Currently I have it set to no background, but I could change it if I wanted to. Like so. Now under typography, this is where you can change the font of your store. So if you don't like the font that's already displayed on your store, you can change it here, choose a different one. And then the style as well, the weight, whether it's bold or not. So you could change that too. If you have social media options, this is where you can enter your social media, different social media accounts if you have any. Now currency, some themes have the option of allowing the user, so the visitor to your store, to choose a currency from the drop-down menu. Now in a previous lecture where we were looking at where you should be selling, which country you should be selling in, we talked about the fact that even though a user can choose a different currency on your store, so even if they can choose a different currency on your store, when they get to the checkout, they will see it they will see the price that they're about to pay, they will see that in the original currency of your store, which is currency of your own bank account unless you use PayPal. So if you use PayPal, you can get around this. All right, now if you can't remember what I'm talking about here, go back and look at that lecture about where should I sell, which country should I sell in. Okay, because that explains more about this currency thing here and the issues that, the things that can basically potentially go wrong when a customer gets to the checkout and sees the total price they have to pay in a currency that is not their own currency. Okay, go back and look at that lecture if you're confused here and you can't remember what that lecture actually said. Now, the default currency for my stores is euro, and the reason for that is because I live in Europe and my currency of my bank account is euros. And if your theme allows it, you can also customize the checkout as well. But the checkout that is actually default with the theme default checkout is usually fine. Now, other customization options that you will have is, first of all, you'll be able to customize the header, and that's going to be in every theme. You're going to be able to customize the header. So often you can customize the menu, and you can decide what size of font you're going to have for the menu. I've got this set at 18 pixels. You can change the size here, make it larger or bigger. It has a maximum size, and that's because if it gets too big, it's going to knock out the actual styling of the page. And if you're going to upload a logo to your header, you do that here in theme customization. There is no logo uploaded here for this theme. This is just the text of the store name. Now, if you have a sidebar, you can also format your sidebar here, what you want to display and what you don't want to display. If I didn't want the social icons, for example, I could untick this box and they disappear. And don't forget again, when you change something, click Save at the bottom. Now, this store has the option of having a banner ad up here. And if I didn't want this banner ad to display on all pages, if I didn't want it to display on any pages, I'd just untick them all, or just untick the ones that I don't want it to show on and tick the ones I do, etc. So I can have it showing nowhere or everywhere. Now, these options here for the collections, this is where you can add certain collections that you're going to set up in your Shopify admin area, and you can have those displayed in various places or different places throughout your site. So I can choose a collection here, and I do have some collections already set up in my store. If I wanted to choose one of these, I'd choose one. You can choose any collection that you have already set up in your store. Now, for this basic customization here, you haven't set up any collections yet. You can just leave that be and come back to it later. Now, logo list, let me show you if I just display that here. This is where, if you are selling brand name products, that you would list the brands that are being sold on your store right here. So if you have this option and you want it displayed, you can tick the boxes. If you don't want it displayed, you can untick the boxes. And footer, this is where you can do some customization to your footer. For this particular footer, there's absolutely nothing to customize because footer is virtually non-existent. But if you have a bigger footer, then you'll have some more customization that you're able to do there. The only thing I can do here is choose the menu which is going in the footer and decide whether or not I want to show payment icons, which I definitely do. And you definitely want to show your payment icons in your footer. Alright, so hopefully that's given you some ideas about customizing your own theme. But one more thing I want to point out here, almost forgot about it, is that the theme you choose, if it has a header image, this theme does not have a header image, but if your theme does, then you're going to need to replace the demonstration header image with an image of your own that's more fitting to your store. So in the next lecture, we're going to look at that because there's a very good chance that your store does require a header image. Hi everybody, welcome back. Let's take a look at finding a nice header image for your store. The website I am on is called pixabay.com, and I use this website a lot. There are others, But this one is a really big database of very high quality images, and they're all free for commercial use. So this is important because you can't just go and grab an image from Google or anywhere at all, because usually they're copyright, or even if they are free to use in some capacity, most of them are not free for commercial use, and you need an image that's free for commercial use. So come along to Pixabay, and there are literally tens of thousands of images here. You can use the search bar to narrow down what you want. Well, there are almost 1 million images, it says here. So let's say, for example, that my website had something to do with cooking, so I was selling cookware and that kind of thing. I might want to have a header that was about food. Now along the top you're always going to see some sponsored images. These are paid images, so you can ignore those and then just scroll on down through to find something that you like. There are 329 pages of images related to food. Now anything you want to find, you just go and type up here. So let's say, for example, camping. Camping. "14 pages of images related to camping." You're sure to find something on here that is a nice image that's related to the niche that you're going to be selling in. Now once you've chosen an image, then you need to crop it down to the right dimensions for your theme. Now usually when you're in the theme customization and you're going to upload a header, it's going to give you the dimensions of the image that you need to upload. But the image, when you download it here from Pixabay, it's not going to be the right dimension, so you're going to need to crop it to those dimensions. And first of all, when you download it, you need to make sure that you download it in a big enough size. So let's say I was going to take this image here. Click on the free download button and you're going to see that there are a number of sizes here. Now, some of them are going to be too small because they're not going to be wide enough for your website. This one here is definitely going to be big enough. When you click on download, you're going to be prompted to enter a CAPTCHA, or you can sign up for an account and you won't need to enter the CAPTCHA. This is now downloaded to my computer. And to get this to the right size, to crop it to the size you need, you can use any kind of free image editing tool. If you're using Microsoft Windows, then you will have, or you probably will have, a built-in tool or built-in software called Paint, so Microsoft Paint. And if you don't have it, you can go and search online to download it for free. If you're using Mac, then you'll have something different. I don't know because I don't use Macs, but find something that's similar to that, something that's a very quick and easy free image editor. So I'm going to go ahead and open this in Microsoft Paint. So I am now going to decide what part of this image that I want in my header. Not going to be able to get the whole thing in, but I think I would like to have the camper van in my header. So I'm going to just go ahead and select, to say here, and then I'm just going to crop this. Now I don't know what size of image that you will need for your actual theme. Your theme customization settings are going to tell you that. But I can go up to resize and choose pixels, because the image dimensions in your theme customization settings, they're going to show in pixels. But let's say that the size of the theme that I had to upload, so according to the settings in the theme customization, let's say it was 1800 wide and 600 tall. So what I need to do is I don't want the image to go skewed or out of proportion, anything like that. So I'll leave maintain aspect ratio. I know I want it 1800 wide and I wanted it 600 tall. Now it's still a little bit too tall, so it's a little bit too high, the image. I want to crop a little bit off this to get it closer to the 600. Now it doesn't have to be exact. Normally you don't have to get it exact, but as close as possible. So I'm going to resize it at the moment, and now I'm going to crop a little bit more off. I can't really crop much off the bottom. I could crop a little bit off the bottom. So let's see, I'm just going to crop a bit off the top and a bit off the bottom. And check the size again in pixels. Still a little bit too tall. So let's just do this again. Crop a bit more off the top, a bit more off the bottom. And this next time we're going to be pretty close, and we're going to be close enough anyway. Well, 630, but this is close enough. So I have now cropped and resized this image so that it is ready to upload to my theme under the theme customization options. Of course, I need to save it here. All right, so go along to Pixabay, choose a nice image for your header, and use a very simple free image editor to crop and resize your image to the correct dimensions before you go ahead and upload it in your theme customization. Hello and welcome back everybody. The next thing we're going to do in the store setup is we're going to create some pages, and these are the necessary pages for our store. So if you go over to the navigation here and click on pages, and what you can see here is that I have 6 pages. Now these pages here, privacy, refunds and returns, terms and conditions, these are the legal pages that go in the footer of your website. And these pages here, FAQs, get help, delivery information, these can go in the main navigation bar. You can, if you wish to, put delivery information in the footer, and in fact I'm going to do that because I'm going to have FAQs in the header and get help in the header. So I'm going to have delivery information also accessible from the main navigation bar. And I suggest that you do this as well, and you do it the way that I'm going to show you how to do it now. So first of all, you need to create your legal pages. Now, when you have a brand new install of Shopify, I think that there may be some templates already installed, the legal pages already in the footer. You would need to edit these templates though. You can't just leave them as is. But just in case you don't, I am going to give you the templates attached to this particular lecture. So if you download the resources that go with this lecture, you can get those templates. Now your privacy and terms and conditions, these are going to be pretty standard anyway. Regarding your refunds and returns, now what you need to be careful of here is that the country you are selling in, that you are being compliant. So you are complying with the laws in the country or the continent that you are selling in. Now for Europe, we must have by law a 14-day return policy, so the customer is allowed to change their mind within 14 days of placing the order. Now, providing that they return the item in the same condition they purchased it in, then they are entitled to a full refund. Now, if they don't, they're not entitled to a full refund, and this is something you've got to work out. So if the item comes back damaged and it's unusable, then you don't have to give them a refund. And you can also, if it comes back and it's just the package damaged, you can sell it again at a discount. You can take some off. You can refund part to the customer. But here's the law here in Europe that we must give the customer 14 days. So whichever country that you are selling in, you need to make sure that you're complying with that and it's on your refund and return policy. Now there are some items that can't be returned, and that's in the interest of hygiene, that kind of thing. Food, if somebody's eaten it, that sort of thing. There are some things that can't be returned. So I will give you this refund and return policy, but make sure that you do edit it to suit yourself, and also make sure that right throughout all of these legal pages, that you remove any reference to my contact details and this website and put your own in there instead. Now, when it comes to the pages that are going to go in your main navigation bar, that's at the top, so your top navigation bar, I recommend that you have an FAQ page, and I recommend you have a Contact Us page. And in this case, I've called the Contact Us page Get Help because I think it sounds a lot more friendly. Now, over here on the template, if you choose, instead of choosing page, you choose page.contact, it's going to insert a contact form on the page. Right, so it's going to actually look like this. So you can't see anything here, but because I've chosen the page.contact template, it's going to look like this. So I'm not going to bother to put any text in here at all because it's pretty obvious, Get Help, and here's the form to enter their contact details and the message. Now, as far as FAQs are concerned, what would you actually put in there? Well, I recommend that you put things like the delivery information. So you could have questions such as, when will I receive my order? And then the answer to that question. So all the questions that you can think of. So what I'm doing here, as well as providing you with the templates for the legal pages, I'm going to provide you with a sample Q&A page as well. So you can just look at those questions and you can use those questions to base your own FAQ page on. And your delivery information page, which we're going to put in the footer, I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment as well. This is just the information letting the customer know when they expect to receive their items. If you are drop shipping, then normally it's going to take a little longer for your customer to receive the items, and this is going to be all depending on the supplier. In the meantime though, although you can't enter any accurate information on the delivery information page, I'd like you to create the page, and I would like you to put something on there about delivery times being 5 to 15 working days. And the reason for that is we're doing this for a particular reason right now. We're setting up this basic site for a particular reason, and we're going to talk more about that shortly. But to add a page, create a page, you just click on Add Page, give your page the title, put the information in here, and make sure you've got the right template, which will be page, and then you click Save. So that's how you create a page. So once you've created all your pages, then go over to Navigation, and you'll have some different menus. If you don't have a sidebar, you won't have a sidebar menu. So you may only have a footer and a main menu. So you click on the menu, in this case footer, and then you click Add Menu Item. And then what you do is you add whatever you want to add here. So for example, I've added a search in the footer, so I've just typed in the word search, and then from the drop down box I've selected search page. Now that just adds a search link, a link that a user can click on to type in a keyword or whatever and search for something on my site. Contact Us, I've chosen page, and then I chose from the drop down box Get Help from the pages I'd already created. I did the same thing with returns and refunds, terms and conditions, privacy, and delivery information. Now I don't want this, I just added it to show you. And then click on Save Menu. Now go back to Navigation, and you're going to do the same thing for your main menu. So with your main menu, you're going to add menu items again. You're going to give it a name, and then you're going to select the page or collections. We haven't set up any collections yet. We're going to be doing that shortly. But when you set up collections, you're able to add those to the main menu as well. All right, so that's menus. And again, if you have a sidebar, you also may have a sidebar menu, so you can add things to the sidebar menu. Now, I've created all these collections here and I've added them to the sidebar menu. So again, we're going to look at doing collections shortly. All right, so that's how you create pages, and that's how you add the pages to your menus, to your top menu, your footer menu, and your sidebar menu if you have a sidebar as well. See you in a minute. Welcome again, everybody. Now we are going to set up some categories for our store so that we can then start to add some products. Now you're thinking, hang on a minute, I haven't even found any suppliers yet. But what we're actually doing here at this stage is we are setting something up so that when we start to contact suppliers, we find interesting suppliers, they have the products that we want to sell, or they have the type of thing we want to sell, and we're going to contact them. Very often they will ask for your website, to see your website. They do that because they don't want to be supplying to Joe Blogg's general public. They only want to supply to real retailers, so people who are retailing or planning to retail, because since it's drop shipping, that kind of leaves it a bit open to abuse. So you could have some savvy members of the general public who decide they're going to get cheap products by buying them from drop shippers for themselves or for their family or whatever, as opposed to buying them retail. So drop shippers don't want that, obviously. They want to know you are a retailer, so often they will ask for a website. So for that reason, we're going to have something ready to show them before you even start to contact suppliers. Now, before we can add any products, and we're going to be getting onto, where you're going to find these dummy images and dummy listings to put on your store. We're going to get onto that next, but we need to set up some categories first. They're called collections here on Shopify. So go to products here, click on products, and then click on collections. So to create a new collection, click on the blue button and give your collection a title. So first of all, you do want a best-selling collection. So create a collection called best-selling, or bestsellers, it doesn't really matter. Now you don't need to put anything in the description box. Also, it doesn't look great, so I would just leave the description box for your categories or your collections. I would leave those blank. Now down here for conditions, you need to choose either manually select products that you will add to this particular collection. If you do that, that means that each time you add a new product, you select, when you add the product, you select which collection that product is going into. You can also have automatically select products based on certain conditions. Now, let me just show you an example of that. Now, this store is actually selling soft toys, so plush animals, stuffed animals, basically for kids. So let's say that I was going to make a collection of frogs, so toy stuffed frogs. So I give it the title, and then under conditions, I can leave it at manually if I want to, but to make it easier, what I can do here is I can have products must match all conditions, and then product title contains the word frog. And then I can add another condition. Product title contains toad, say. And in fact, the better way of doing it is having any condition, because the title may contain the word frog or it may contain the word toad, but it's not likely to contain the words frog and toad, because if I have this stuffed toy, which is a frog, it's going to have the word frog in the title. Have another stuffed toy, which is a toad, will have the word toad, but it won't have frog and toad in the title. So therefore, if we had matching all conditions, it wouldn't work if we had a title with just frog in it or a title with just toad in it. So we have any condition. Hope that makes sense. So we can add as many conditions as we want. It doesn't have to be the product title. It could be product type, price, weight, variant title, all kinds of things that you can add here as a condition, so that when you add a new product, it automatically goes into a particular collection. Now, if you don't want to do that, or if the collection that you are creating doesn't lend itself to that, instead choose manually select products. Now it's a good idea to upload an image for each collection that you create, and when you click the blue button here, upload image, it's going to allow you to select an image from your device. So again, you can use Pixabay to find images that will be relevant and appropriate for the collection that you are creating. You can also use product images as a collection image, and in fact that's what I would normally tend to do. I would select one of the products from that collection and I would use an image for that as my collection image. Okay, so with these collections I've already created, you can see here that I've added conditions to some of them. So I've added conditions to this one here. Product title contains pig or cow or chicken or sheep or lamb, because these are farm animals, so farm stuffed animals. And for this collection, dogs and puppies, I've got product title contains dog or product title contains puppy. Now some of these collections I haven't put any conditions on. So for best selling I've put no conditions on. I've put no conditions on newest arrivals. I haven't put any conditions on any of these others yet. So I probably would on some of these, but I just haven't got round to doing it yet. And none of this is set in stone. You can delete a collection, add a new collection, edit a collection anytime you want. So just set up a few collections loosely based on your niche. Okay, once you've created some collections, now we can add some products to the store. Here's a quick video to show you how to remove the sales sticker from the minimal theme, because it's not that obvious and a student has just asked me about it. It was really difficult to explain, so I thought I'd made this video. So I'm right here in the theme customization section of my store, and this is the minimal theme. Now to remove the sales stickers completely from your store, first thing to do is you want to navigate to one of the category pages. So I'm just going to click here to go to women's bracelets. Now over on the left we have this little icon here for collection pages. Click on that and untick show product sales circle. Click save, and to remove the sales circle from the actual product pages, just click on any product, and over here in the left click on product pages, scroll down and under show sales circle make sure this is unticked, and then click save. And that's all you need to do, and that will completely remove the sales circle or the sales sticker from your store using the minimal theme. Alright, welcome back. Now we are going to get some dummy products to add to our store so that we have something on the store when we apply to suppliers. And for this we're going to use AliExpress. Now the products that you add to your store, they don't have to be the exact type of products that you are going to apply to suppliers for, that you're going to be looking for. Really at this stage, with your research that you've done using Facebook Audience Insights, research into your audience, your chosen demographics, at this stage you should still be fairly kind of open-minded and have a number of different things that you may possibly want to sell. This is going to make it a lot easier for you when you look for suppliers. So even if you have a niche or some niches, you don't need to narrow it down at this stage to sub-niches. At this stage, still, you have just a framework of a store, and you could go in a number of different directions. But for the store Little Pets, the demo store Little Pets, I'm looking for toys. I know I'm looking for toys. Now I could add any toys on there, but I'm going to look for some plush toys. So You can either use the search bar at the top, or you can just find your category and then subcategory. So right here, I'm looking for stuffed and plush animals. No need to spend too much time selecting. It really doesn't matter. These are just dummy products that you're adding to the store. Now you want it to look real, so you want to add several products. I would say 20 to 30. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to make the world of difference when you are contacting suppliers. So I'm just going to take this one here. I'm going to copy and paste the title. Just put it onto a text file for now. I am going to grab a couple of images. I want this image here, but I can't download it. So instead, I'm just going to take a screenshot of it. And maybe this one here as well. And I want a few things for the description. And I'm going to do the same with some more. So I'll take this one, and probably this one, maybe this one, and I'll just keep going until I've got about 30 of these like this. We don't need to worry too much about getting detailed descriptions, because when we do this for real, so when we are adding products for real, we do want to have a detailed description, but we'll go into that later on. So, you know, for now, we don't need any of that. There's a frog. I'm going to take that one as well. Now, in case anybody's wondering about what we spoke earlier about not taking copyright images from Google, using Pixabay for images because they are free for commercial use and we know they're not copyright. In case anybody's wondering about this, this is not the same, okay? This is completely different. Nobody is going to care if you use these images. For one thing, you could be a retailer that's purchased these products from AliExpress, or you could be dropshipping from AliExpress, you know, like a lot of other people are. If an image is watermarked with the seller's watermark, you can't use that image. So you have to make sure the image is not watermarked. None of these images we've been looking at here are watermarked, and they leave them without watermarks on because there are so many retailers who are actually buying from them and want to use the images. So really this is completely different to just say going to Google and doing a Google search for an image and taking an image that somebody may well be using on their website and has all sorts of implications going along with it. Okay, now let's go back over to Shopify and let's add these products to the store. Welcome back everybody. Now we're going to add products to our store. So we're adding these dummy products to the store, and adding a product is easy here in Shopify. So over on the navigation menu and then click on products and you'll get this page, add your first products. So just click the blue button and here's where we want to put the title that we copied and pasted earlier. Now we're not going to use this whole title here because some of it doesn't sound right. So let's just paste it in here. We don't want this new, hot or waiting. So we're just going to take that out. I think I'll just remove all of this here or leave it like that. I just removed some of the stuff that was duplicated in the title and removed some of the words from the beginning. So you do have to check these titles. Sometimes they don't make a whole lot of sense. So you just need to check them first and edit them as necessary. Now in the description, I'm not going to put much at all. I'm just going to get this here. I've got the size. So there, I've just changed it a little bit and I haven't added anything else to it. And as I said already in the last lecture, when we are adding products for real, we need to create a proper description, but this will do here for now. I'm going to upload the image as well that I took. So I'll just click here and upload the image. And I'm just going to give it a price here. No need to enter anything here under inventory and no need to enter anything under shipping. And then just go ahead and click save when you've added your first product. Oh, and you should also do the organization over here. So product type, I'm just going to put this as a soft toy. And then I'm going to choose a collection for it, which I think would be other, and save again. And you just want to keep going until you've added about 20 to 30 products. So just going through the same process, adding 20 or 30 products. And make sure you add a few of those products to a best-selling collection as well. All right, so you don't need to watch me adding all these products to the store. It's just the same process for everyone. So I'll see you in the next lecture. Hi everybody. Now we are going to add a payment method. So a method of accepting payments. So I already have payment methods set up, but when you first come to this page, which you get to by going to settings and then clicking on payments here, and it's going to bring you to this page, you will have no payment method set up. Now, depending on the country that you are in, you will have several different options. There are a number of built-in options, but the options will be different depending on the country you are from. Now, if you are in the UK, the US, Ireland, Canada, and I think Australia, you are able to use what's called Shopify payments, which is Shopify's own credit card processor. If you are not, you have various different options, and the best one is usually Stripe. It used to be that if we are from Ireland, which I am, we weren't able to use the Shopify payment credit card processor. So I've always used Stripe. So I'm now considering changing over to Shopify payments, but I've been using Stripe for a long time. I'm kind of used to using it. However, I probably should change it. But anyway, what will happen is you're going to be given various options. And if you are eligible to use the Shopify credit card payment system, their own system, then you will see that it's recommended that that's what you use. Now, if not, you'll be able to select from a drop-down box and you will see what's available to you. If you can't use Shopify payments, so if you're not in the UK, the US, Canada, I think Australia, Ireland, I think there are now a couple of other countries as well, but if you are not able to use Shopify payments, then I recommend that you use Stripe if Stripe's available to you, and if not, choose another one. Now, your other option is to use PayPal, and I have PayPal as well. So if you look here, I've added PayPal, so I have PayPal as an option as well as Stripe. Stripe is just basically a credit card payment processor, but I also give customers the option of using PayPal, so I have attached my PayPal account there as well, which is very easy to do. So you do obviously need a PayPal account before you can do this. Anyhow, whichever payment method you choose, you just follow the on-screen instructions. And if you happen to choose Stripe, so if you're not able to choose Shopify payments and you choose Stripe, then you'll be prompted to sign up for a Stripe account. It's a very simple process. And before they actually pay you, before Stripe pay you for your order, so you've received orders on your store and Stripe has processed the payments for you, before they send that money to your bank account, they will ask for some kind of verification of your identity. Okay, so you'll be asked to upload something, upload some kind of documentation like a scan of your passport or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what they asked me for, but it wasn't much anyway, and I uploaded it and that was dealt with very quickly. Now, when you use PayPal, let's say you decide to use PayPal alone, on its own. Now, remember the earlier lecture about which country to sell in, deciding which country to sell in. If you use PayPal, it means that you are able to sell in other countries, and the customer, when they go to pay for their order, they will see the total in their own currency. Whereas if I wanted to sell in, for example, let's say I wanted to sell in the UK, but my currency on this store is euro because my bank account is a euro account, then when the customer gets to checkout and goes to pay for the order, they're going to see the price in euro and not in pounds, even though they are in the UK, which doesn't make for a great experience. And that's why using PayPal can sometimes be an advantage for that. A second advantage of using PayPal is that you've got instant access to the funds. Now, when you're using Stripe, for example, so a credit card processor, they are taking the funds and then it can take a week for you to get those funds into your bank account. So if cash flow is going to be a problem for you when you first start out, you may just want to use PayPal so you'll have instant access to that money as soon as the customer has paid for the order. So there are some advantages to using PayPal, but I'll give you a tip. If you're going to use PayPal, if you want PayPal to be your primary method of accepting payments on your store, you want customers to use PayPal, do not have any other options, because what I have found is that if there are other options, they will usually take the other option. But if it's only PayPal, they have no choice and they have to use PayPal. Now, of course, a customer using PayPal, if they don't have a PayPal account, they can still pay for the order with their credit or debit card, because PayPal allows people to buy things with a card even if they don't have a PayPal account. So you have to weigh this up. Do you want to use PayPal? Maybe you want to use PayPal exclusively. Do you want to use a credit card processor and have PayPal as an extra method at the checkout? Or what do you want to do? So you have to think about that and decide. So go ahead and add a payment method, add at least one payment method to your store. Hi everybody, what we're going to do now is we're going to get a domain name and attach it to our store. Because we need a domain name, otherwise our store address would be yourstore.shopify.com. Now, clearly that's not at all professional, so you do need a domain name for your store. Now, by now you will already have an idea of the niche you're going to sell in. You'll have a whole list of products, so you've got a kind of idea where you are going. But at the same time, what if you're not really sure that this is the niche that you really ultimately want to sell in, and you don't want to keep on buying new domain names if you decide to change? You can buy a more generic domain name, and if you look at a lot of stores now, the domain names, they're quite general, so they're not attached to any specific niche. Now, you can buy your domain name directly from Shopify. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. And when you do that, you don't actually have to set anything up or connect it to Shopify, to your store, because it's already automatically connected. But first of all, you need to come up with a domain name. And we can't really use the Shopify system to do that because we can't test to find out if domain names are available properly in the Shopify system. So you can use any domain registrar to get ideas for domain names. So I like to use GoDaddy. GoDaddy is the domain registrar that I buy most of my domain names from, but you can use any at all. For this demo, we'll go over to GoDaddy. Alright, so you can use the search bar here to find out if a domain is available or not, and also to help give you some ideas. I can't really help you in choosing a domain name because it's going to be something that you've got to come up with. You've got to try and get a little bit creative, because you will try domain names to see if they're available, and oftentimes they'll be gone and you'll have to think up something else. Sometimes it's good to try and think of a kind of catchy name. This will definitely be gone, but let's just try it anyway. Yeah, so you can see that is taken, the .com is taken. So you may need to try several, and you can grab a pen and paper or a text file on your device and just start coming up with ideas. That's what I do when I'm looking for a domain name. So when I chose the domain name Little Pets with a Z, I had tried dozens of other domain names that were similar to that before I even thought of Little Pets, and all the other ones were taken. Don't go for anything like .org or any of these kind of domain extensions here. only go for either .com or the country extension of the country that you are going to be selling in. So in other words, if you're going to sell in the UK.co.uk, if you're going to sell in, say, France.fr, you're going to sell in Canada.ca, but other than that, go for .com. And the second tip is about using different characters in your domain name. Don't use hyphens because they get missed out. So if somebody's typing your domain name into the address bar, the hyphen will often get missed out and they'll end up on a completely different website. Don't use numbers. So don't use like a number 4, 5, any number at all. And the reason for that again is that the number could easily get typed as the letters. So if you had the number 4 in your domain, could get typed as FOUR or the number 4. So don't use numbers either in the letter form or in the actual digit form. So yes, really that's about it. Don't use numbers in your domain name, don't use hyphens, and for your extensions either use .com or the country extension that you plan to sell in. Alright, now once you've chosen a domain name, you don't need to buy it here, because if you buy it from Shopify, as I said, you won't have any setting up to do. On the other hand, if you've already got a domain name, so let's say you have an existing domain name you want to use, then you can attach that to your Shopify store. So let's go ahead and click on domains. You have the choice to connect an existing domain or buy a domain. If you don't have one already, then I recommend that you buy the domain that you've just chosen, so the domain you've picked after searching to find something that's available that you like. I recommend you just go ahead and buy it here from Shopify. Now it's going to cost a couple of dollars more than it would if you buy it from somewhere else, say GoDaddy. But it's going to save you some time and hassle setting it up. There's a little bit of technical stuff to do to actually connect a domain name that you have bought elsewhere. So go ahead and either click buy new domain to buy the domain that you've chosen that you know already is available, or click to connect existing domain. So if you have a domain already, and then you enter here the domain that you want to connect, then you click next, and it will actually come up with the domain provider. So Shopify will automatically detect where you have purchased that domain name from. Now this particular domain actually wasn't bought from GoDaddy, it was bought from Namecheap, so that's correct. And then what you need to do is click the button to follow the instructions to connect your domain to Shopify. Okay, now the instructions are different for every domain provider, but it's not difficult. You just need to follow the step-by-step instructions, and there are a couple of technical things to do. So once again, you don't need to do this. You can buy your domain name from Shopify, so you can go to one of the domain providers like GoDaddy, etc. to find out if a domain is available. Then you can come over here to Shopify and you can buy your domain from Shopify. So right here, buy new domain, and then you won't have any setup to do. Hi everybody, now I'm going to show you how to set up a free professional email account for your store, because when you're contacting suppliers, this is really the main reason we need to do this at the moment. When you're contacting suppliers, you do not want to be contacting them from a Gmail account or something like that, because immediately they're going to think it a little odd, right? They're going to immediately want to maybe check you out a little bit more. If you have a professional email account, you're giving that what the supplier would expect. The supplier would expect you to be emailing them from a professional email account. So go along to zoho.com. Now for me it's defaulted to zoho.eu, but it doesn't really matter. Just type in zoho.com into your address bar. And then click on sign up now. For the free account, click sign up. And here enter the domain name that you purchased. Whether you purchased that from Shopify or anywhere else, just enter it here. And now just fill in these fields to create your Zoho account. And for your account email, I just use something like support, and then go ahead and sign up. So now we need to verify that we do own this domain. Obviously, otherwise anybody could use your domain to set up an email account. So to do that, click the drop-down box. Now you can see here that if you bought your domain from Shopify, you select this one here, Open SRS Squarespace Shopify. So this is the same procedure for any of these three things. So Shopify is included in that one. So you would just click here and select the HTML method. I believe this will be the easiest way for you to do it. Now bear in mind that I have never purchased a domain from Shopify. I always purchase mine elsewhere, GoDaddy or sometimes Namecheap. But from looking at the instructions here and knowing what you can do in Shopify, this is going to be your easiest way. So choose the HTML method and download this file. So right here, click this link to download the file to your computer, your device, and then go over to Shopify, choose Settings, and under Settings, click on Files, click the blue button to upload a file, find the file on your device, so wherever it just downloaded to, and then select it and then click to upload it. Now once you've done that, you should be able to go right back to Zoho and click Verify by HTML, the green button down at the bottom, and that should work. And that's all you actually need to do to connect Zoho to your domain if you purchase that domain from Shopify. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and start using it like a regular email address. So the email address you just set up, which was in this case support@littlepets.com. Now if you purchased your domain somewhere else, for example from GoDaddy, you need to follow the instructions provided, and in fact there's a video here for the GoDaddy instructions to show you what to do. And you've got all these other domain providers here. I note that Namecheap is not actually on the list, but if you have purchased a domain from a domain registrar that's not on the list, you can just select others. Okay, now there will be other places where you can get a free professional email address, but Zoho is really the go-to one, and there's always going to be something to do to connect your domain to Zoho. Now clearly with the Shopify setup, if you bought your domain from Shopify, it's very, very simple as I just demonstrated. Now let's just have a quick look at my demo store now that I've added some dummy products and I've added some categories and pages and that kind of thing. So as you can see, it looks okay here, the front page. Now I've only added about 10 products here, but as I mentioned already, you should add 20 to 30 before you show your store to any suppliers. Now it only took me, it took me about half an hour, just about 30 minutes or so to add these 10 or 11 products. I didn't bother to really put anything much in the description. I just added the title and an image and then added the products to a specific collection, like newest arrivals and best selling. Now on the home page here, just let me show you how we set this up to display certain products and also some categories on the home page. So we need to do this in the theme settings. So let me just show you this now because I didn't show you before. So go to customize theme, and in your sections look for your featured collection and your collections list. So in the featured collections here, I have added newest arrivals. So this is a collection I set up, I created when I was creating my collections, and I added these products here to this collection. So when I just choose newest arrivals, I could choose another one if I wanted to, but I've decided to feature the newest arrivals section on the home page. So if we just go back here, this is the collection list here. So I have decided to have 3 collections per row, 1, 2, 3. Could have more than that, could have less than that. And right here, I have chosen the collections to display. If I want to add more, I can add more and create another row of collections down here just by clicking here, choosing a collection to add, like newest arrivals, and that's going to add that down here. And because I've only added one, it's going right across the page, but if I added 3, it would line up like this here. Anyway, I'm going to just delete this one. So we can delete and add as we want to, but I'm quite happy with the look of that now. If I was using the store now to show to a supplier, I'd be quite happy with this. So we've got the FAQs and we've got the Get Help, which has the form on here. We've got our footer pages. So everything's on there. Of course, I wouldn't have demo store here in brackets, but I still don't necessarily need a logo. You don't necessarily need to use a logo at this stage, as long as you've got the name of your store up here. And this is something that you do in your general settings in your Shopify admin. So that's down here under settings. All right, so once you get your store looking okay, you've got your pages in place, you've got your demo products, your dummy products in there, you've got your collections, you've got your navigation in place, your top navigation, your footer menu, all that kind of thing. You can now use this store to apply to dropship suppliers, and that's what we're going to be doing next.